Good evening and good to all. As tonight we have another fine evening of Friday Night Lights. Tonight another Lakota West game, as tonight we will see the Lakota West Firebirds taking on the Fairfield Indians. And it's a special night. You know why, Andrew?
Why is it, Nikos?
Well, tonight it is Future Firebird Night, and this is means a lot for everyone here because this is the future of Lakota. And so, you know, it definitely changes the atmosphere, and, you know, I think the players have one more thing to play for. But, Andrew, what are your keys to the game tonight?
Well, my keys to the game tonight, I mean, there's a lot of them because there's a lot of, improvements that can be made tonight in this game where the Lakota West tries to bounce back against Fairfield. But really, my biggest keys are, first of all, you got to contain Tyler George, the running back for Fairfield. He's had a great year so far, 431 yards on the ground, 5 touchdowns, and he's averaging 7.8 yards per carry. I mean, the dude has just been a beast all year long. And, the defensive line of Lakota West is going to have to step up and stop him from getting through those holes and making those plays. But I'm very confident in, how Lakota West is going to respond tonight. They've obviously got some things they got to clean up. But, I think special teams obviously is another factor. You really got to look at, the special teams last week was, part of the reason why the Firebirds couldn't hang on and win that game. Reese Mason, it was a tough luck. It was a tough break where, he had the fumble recovery on the muffed punt, and Princeton was able to score on that and, add on to their lead. But after that, if those mistakes, if they can get cleaned up and that special teams can get better, this team can really, make a lot of plays tonight. But I also think they got to get, the run game established. Last week, they couldn't run the ball at all against that Princeton D-line. I mean, Sam Wiles had like 18 carries for 22 yards. He couldn't do much on the ground, and it's because that line of scrimmage was being dominated by the Vikings, and that's another thing tonight that Lakota West needs to look forward to is dominating that line of scrimmage, and they got a lot of guys on there that can really play great ball. But, I think that's most of it, and also getting the receivers involved. We saw last week in the second half of that game, West had some drives where they were able to get guys like Trey Barnett involved in some deep passes. Obviously they weren't able to come up with much as they only got 6 points, but if you're able to get a run game established and then you get your receivers involved, you get your quarterback more comfortable, and you get your receivers more involved into the game, you give yourself a great chance to win. And, with how talented this offense is, I really think that's going to be a huge factor tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And one other thing, like you said, with the special teams, you have to think, you got to wonder how Reese Mason's going to respond after, he had those problems last week with that fumble, that muff punt at the end of the game. But on top of that, Kofi Adubafor, he's one of, if not the best kickers here in the GMC. He's got the farthest kick this season. He's 4-4 from the field goals, 100% from extra points. And Aiden McGuire, he struggled a little bit. 1 of 3 from field goals. I believe he hit all his extra points, but he's definitely that kicking is going to be an X factor as well as how Reese Mason responds. And yeah, I mean, we're gonna see right here as Fairfield is going to return this ball. But I mean, there's a lot going in this game. West coming off a frustrating loss against Princeton. Might have been a good humbling experience as Adubafor kicks this one away. We'll see Braden Miller return that one to about the 20. And why don't we take a second, just to look at the weather tonight. We can thank some of our graphic makers. Right now it's about 81 degrees with a nice breeze, about 9 miles an hour, and a little humid, but once that night comes, it's going to get a little cool. Might need a jacket.
Yeah, it should be good weather for tonight. Really, good weather is a great sign of a good football game to come, so I'm excited about that. But we'll see what Fairfield can do here on this first drive. Obviously, they got a lot of talent on that offense. You obviously first look at the running game, but two running back tandem of Tyler George and Stephen Bryant, who have both combined for 7 touchdowns this season on the ground. But you also look at their offense overall. It's just been great.
Yeah, Dominic Back has been impressive. I still give that one to, I believe, George right there, and that's going to be a gain of about 3 or 4 as the defense, maybe 2. The defense puts that one to a stop.
Yeah, but great job there by the defensive line. Again, we talked about the line of scrimmage, where Princeton kind of, had the advantage in that category last week. But this week we're seeing West doing a better job early on.
Back heaves it downfield. He's got a man open, and it's just slightly overthrown. And that one's got to be frustrating for the Fairfield offense. I mean, he got past that defense, like, immediately, I mean, there was no one. That's a touchdown if he can hit his man.
Yeah, and that's got to feel horrible, obviously. If you're, coach drawing up that play, it was a perfect play design, got a man wide open, but just weren't able to convert. And, that's a good start, though, for Fairfield.
We're seeing a bit of no huddle here as Fairfield's just running the line with the motion. Back with no one to either side. What he's done this year has been impressive as a first-year starter. I mean, no interceptions yet, 63% completion percentage is pretty impressive. But he'll take the snap, quickly throw it out to George. George is going to take that one. He's got a hole before he's pushed out of bounds there by, I believe that was Grant Bierman.
And, a great play design there again by Fairfield. Pretty sure, he did not get the first down, so it'll be 4th and 2 coming up, and Fairfield will punt the ball away. But obviously, looking at, the strength of schedule this year for Fairfield, they've been able to beat up on some of the lower level opponents in the GMC. They had that 33-13 victory over Coleraine, and then last week just a thrashing of Sycamore, 56-13. So obviously their confidence is riding high, but they're going up against a team that they haven't faced this level of talent yet so far in the GMC, and they could be in for a really eye opener tonight.
McGuire will punt that one away. Mason's going to take it. Not going to get too much there. I expect to see some great things out of him. Seeing as the kind of player he is, I really think he's going to, have a really nice bounce-back week after his struggle last week.
Well, yeah, now we take a look at the Lakota West offensive statistics here tonight. Coming out onto the field, they've had some struggles early on in the GMC, but overall 6th in overall offense. They're averaging 18 points per game. Obviously, their strength of schedule has been one of the toughest so far. You're going up against teams like St. Xavier, Princeton, and Hamilton, all very good teams this year. But, we'll have to see what they do against, a team with not as great of a defense as Fairfield, who is 8th in overall defense. And, yeah, we'll have to see what happens on this first drive.
Yeah, Fairfield may be the victim to a Lakota West bounce-back week here, as they'll go right to Norman. Norman trying to get around that outside, and he is able to keep pushing, looking like a school bus out there the way he got there. I mean, that's going to bring up a nice second down where you can take a shot downfield if you want to, or you can just take that quick first down to move the chains.
Yeah, and Kenyon Norman has really been one of the biggest X factors this season for Lakota West. I mean, you talk about an X factor on offense. He's been able to give them a lot of their yards this year, and really, I mean, he's got in the receiving game, he's also been a threat.
Wild steps back, looking. He's got Norman across the middle of the field. What a play. Ball comes out, but I believe he was for sure down there. Speak of the devil right there, Kenyon Norman getting that big play. And, you call it the announcer jinx. Might have been, a good jinx right there as he catches it right over the middle, just straight drive right down the seam. And he's got a huge play on first down, but he's really been the X factor in this offense, and he's really carried the load. But look for a guy like Trey Barnett, a guy who, he had a great first week against St. Xavier, has kind of, been a little bit sluggish these past few weeks, against some of these tougher defenses, especially Princeton. But, he has 8 receptions for 123 yards and a touchdown on the season, so we'll hopefully see him get involved tonight. Yeah, he's a guy who he might not get the most receptions, but when he does, it's going to be a big impact, as he's one of the most explosive players on this field. As that one's going to go to Johnson, and he's going to go maybe to the line of scrimmage. Fairfield thinks there's a fumble. I think he was down or pretty much at least close.
Yeah, and there again, the trench battle obviously is a big factor in this game. If Fairfield's defense can get some stops on that offensive line, obviously so far 2 pretty big plays for Lakota West to get them set up in pretty good field position, but we'll have to see what their offense can do, trying to bounce back after a tough week last week, and I expect good things tonight from Lakota West.
Definitely. I mean, when you look at the numbers, it might not be the highest in the GMC, but like you said, that strength of schedule has not been a friend for Lakota West. That one will go to, I believe, Tyson Davis as he cuts up, tries to make a man miss, and Fairfield's defense is there, and the fans are coming alive as that one go to about the line of scrimmage to bring up 3rd and 6.
Yeah, good job there stopping it from Fairfield. And, in that situation, this defense really starting to show how they're a bend but don't break defense. They gave up 2 big plays, but now they're holding strong here on 3rd down, and 3rd and 6 is a pretty tough spot for Lakota West.
It's got to be nice being a coach and knowing that pretty much wherever you are, you have Kobe Dufour to get you at least 3 points. Flag down on the field there. I would assume that's going to be a false start on Lakota West.
And again, another thing where Lakota West struggled, especially last week, were the penalties, a lot of pre-snap penalties, a lot of things that really could have been avoided, but execution just flat out has to be better.
Definitely, and that's going to bring up 3rd and about 11, as we'll see what Lakota West does here. Wiles looking comfortable. He didn't have the best week last week, but he's been there tonight for sure after that big throw to Kenyon Norman over the middle.
We'll see what they try to do here. I would get Wiles dropping back.
Motion man rolling out to his left. Spy is there. He's going to heave it downfield, and that's going to be pass interference on the offense. Trey Barnett just was trying to get to that ball and hand tugged a little too hard. That's going to put them a little bit farther back.
Yeah, that's tough, and I would expect them to decline this penalty too. Probably.
We'll see what the coach decides because they could accept this one and make it a little bit harder for Dufour to get this kick up. Be interesting how he decides if he wants to be aggressive or just a little passive. Excuse me, that was not Barnett. That was Tyson Davis there with that flag. But that's going to bring up 3rd and very long there.
Looks like 3rd and 26. So
let's see what Bolden draws up here.
Right here, I just expect a quick handoff most likely. I mean, it's a very big shot to get a first down here.
Just try to get a little bit better for Dufour to put this one up. Wiles rolling out to his left. Pressure coming, moving around, using his legs. He's got a man over the middle. Braden Johnson right over the middle.
Looks like Wiles might have stepped over that line of scrimmage, though, as flags are being thrown. Not sure what the penalty was, however.
Might have seen an illegal man downfield motion, but we'll see what the call is.
Flag on the play. Ineligible receiver on the offense, number 55.
And again, those penalties just killing Lakota West early on. I backed them up. It was a 3rd and 6, and now we're 3rd and 31.
Talk
and
about
out of field goal range.
Talk about a commentator jinxed by me about talking about how you always have a Dufour there. Now it's 3rd and 31, putting them very far back.
And I would just try to get something quick here. If you can gain some of the yards back, maybe put yourself back in field goal range.
I mean, Wiles has had some insane plays this year on 3rd and long, so we'll see what he does here. Has Luca Gilbert as the extra blocker down low, and 2 running backs to his left and right. 2 wide out to the left, none to the right. Second count, he'll give it to Norman. Norman trying to get around that outside. And Fairfield is there as Kobe Lewis blows that one up. I think that moves even farther back, and now the punting unit comes out onto the field.
Well, yeah, the drive looked great, starting, and obviously fell apart at the end there, and that's just not really, a good way to start off after how last week went. But we'll see how the defense can respond here. They had a great first drive, and see what they can make happen here.
Marquette boots that one away. Fairfield will call for the fair catch around the 8-yard line. So that'll bring up pretty good, a solid kick from Marquette. I see a flag on the field here, and the laundry has been going crazy tonight.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, and it's really just been one-sided as the Firebirds have just had so many penalties here in the early going. But let's talk about this Firebird defense as they step onto the field. First in overall defense as they've only allowed 9 points per game, going against really good opponents as well, and only 190 yards per game. But they're also, 3rd in rushing defense and 1st in passing defense. They only allow 60 passing yards a game throughout 3 games so far this season. I mean, that is insane. And when you're going up against a team like Fairfield, you're going to want to be able to stop everything that goes on downfield, but especially what goes on in the run game.
So there you go, another big penalty, 15 yards against Lakota West with that personal foul. But you said it, this defense has been impressive. Back takes a quick throw, get about a yard there. Lakota West is all over that one.
And again, another quick screenplay. You can tell they like those quick plays, getting it out in space and trying to find the open man.
And, I mean, it's worked so far. They're about the first-ranked offense in this GMC. Sure, they might have played pretty easy competition, but they've got it going as George slips 3, and he's going to have a big play to about that 41 on the Lakota West territory. And that is the explosion we've seen here from George. I mean, first in the GMC in rushing yards, and looks like he's going to put on a show tonight.
That was a great play from Fairfield, bouncing off the tackle by George. He looks like a seasoned veteran here tonight. I mean, just keeping the legs churning and getting a huge gain.
Fairfield pulling that no-huddle offense, and that's not going to work as Cole Mundy is there to pull him down for the big sack and the big loss.
And how about Cole Mundy? We weren't, broadcasting last week's game, but he had another great week last week, and he's really shown up, here in this early part of the season as a guy that can be one of the best defenders for the Firebirds.
So we'll see Fairfield continuing that no-huddle offense. Quick run to George, and George is swept up pretty much immediately for about 3 or 4 yards there.
Firebirds doing a good job there, but it really comes down to the line of scrimmage. And, Fairfield's using that tempo, a lot of what their offense is about in those quick screen plays.
Slips Drake, and he's going to get a solid game there. Almost a loss of yards, but was able to slip out of it.
Now we got a third down coming up, and this is where this Firebird defense usually shines. In these third down situations, creating pressure on the quarterback.
3rd and 6, back, looking, pressure coming. Here comes Thomas off his blind spot, and he will go down. Big play there by number 20, DJ Edwards. I thought Cam Thomas was going to get to him, but here comes Edwards coming in to bring up that 4th down stop, and here comes the punting unit.
Great job there from the Firebirds. Both teams have had 2 big plays that set them up in great field position, but neither team could really get anything going from it. So we're seeing again that matchup where, it's kind of in a stalemate, and the special teams is really going to decide who wins this game as the field position battle continues.
Speaking of Cam Thomas, he's had an incredible season so far as just a junior. 13 tackles, 4.5 tackles for a loss, 3rd in the GMC, and, of course, that big interception against Princeton last week. Little short play right there to Braden Johnson.
And I feel like they could also, a way to unlock Braden Johnson's game is to get him out in the passing game. Those quick plays, kind of what they do with Kenyon Norman. Feels like they've just been giving it to him, and hasn't been much happening these past few weeks. But if you can get him out in space, he can make a man miss and get all the way down the field.
Yeah, those 2 guys make a powerful tandem in that backfield. Play action. Taking himself. Wiles cutting upfield. He's got a big play. There he goes down the sideline to the 20, to the 10, and he'll be pushed out of bounds there. What a big run, showing that he's got some legs on his feet.
And talk about an energizing run. Lowering his shoulder at the end, doing the dirty work. The quarterback, you love to have a quarterback that can run, but Sam Wiles, his dual threat ability is just amazing. And, it kind of reminds you of a guy from Fairfield last year. We talk about key departures. And we talk about for Fairfield, Talon Fisher, a guy who he had over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns to the air, but 16 touchdowns on the ground last year, just amazing.
Johnson up the gut, and he's going to take that one, looking like he might have been in. Ref will call it just short, but he pushed his way. Wiles looks like a gazelle with a rocket strapped to his arm. He can throw far, but he also has incredible legs. He's able to get away from just about anyone.
Yeah, and like he did there, and now you set up great field position. But going back to your point, I think really right here, you got to use Wiles' legs to get yourself in the end zone.
So here we go on 2nd and 1. Got to imagine it'll be some kind of run play with how this offense tends to run. Oceans Grant Bierman. And there goes Johnson into the end zone. Kind of threw me off there, putting a linebacker down there to make a block, but it pays off as Braden Johnson to get his 2nd touchdown of the season. What a play, pushing his, grinding the gears to get in.
And that's a great way to start this game. First drive stalled, second drive, no, this Firebirds offense looks like they might shoot up in the rankings. They might go up from number 6 to maybe up there. But, a great first drive for this Firebirds team.
That was an incredible drive, definitely boosting the confidence. Adubafor puts that one up, and it is good. So we'll take a short break before we come back here with 4 minutes and 4 seconds to see how Fairfield can respond here on Lakota West Broadcasting. So we'll come back after that incredible touchdown and run from Wiles and Johnson. But Andrew, what did you like on that drive?
I really liked how they set up the plays and got their running game going. You just talk about establishing the run game. I mean, in the first drive, they had some plays downfield. They had some passes that looked pretty good, but really this identity of this offense is that run option and getting Wiles out there, using his legs, but also using the legs of Braden Johnson and Kenyon Norman, two guys who are also fantastic athletes, and the ability to just get downfield and run right through a wall is what the Firebirds are able to do. And that offensive line also creating space and creating holes for the running backs and quarterback to get through.
Yeah, for sure. And here on this defense, something that not everyone expected, but the jump from Reese Mason and, of course, Finn Mason, who led the GMC in interceptions last year. They've been an insane duo, 22 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 6 passes defended between the two of them. They have held down that secondary for this team.
And, yeah, they've really made the secondary the strong suit of this Firebirds team. I mean, last week they had great pass defense, and then you talk about the week before against Hamilton, holding Antonio Mathis to 19 total yards in passing offense. I mean, just great work from that secondary, and it's going to be a great year if this defense can hold up like we think it will.
Well, you said they were the strong side of the defense, but I mean, look at that D line up front 7 right there, shutting down George to just 3 yards between 2 plays before another flag comes out, and I think this one was on that West defense.
Yeah, it looked like it might have been an offsides there on the outside on the edge. Encroachment on the Firebirds, and that'll bring up 3rd and 2. So interesting to see what Fairfield might do here. A 3rd and short in your own territory.
Be another quick run here.
Looks like he's got it.
And there's George just pounding it through. I mean,
he's really sort of, a bell cow running back where you can give it to him as many times as you want. He's going to continue to run it with that same intensity.
Be another run to George. And that time, Lakota West is there. I believe that was Cole Mundy who got to them first. And, of course, DJ Edwards making another impact play.
And, yeah, this defensive line, it's just a brick wall with the ability to just stop. And, we talk about maybe the secondary being the strongest suit. It's really the whole defense. The D-line filled with guys who can just play amazing. And then back looking. He's got a man downfield. Reese Mason tackles him at about the 22. That is a big play right there. That's got to be pretty concerning if you're the Firebirds. 2 blown coverages early on in this game for a secondary that's been so good this year. And, we've given it so much praise. Pretty tough moment right there.
That was Darian Prophet there, number 3, getting that big play before he's brought down. That was George brought down about the 2 yards of offense right there.
And you talk about X factors. They got 2 receivers who are also great in the pass game. Braden Miller, 12 receptions for 130 yards and a touchdown all year. And then Darian Prophet, 11 receptions for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. So those 2 guys are also make this offense very dangerous. Not just the running backs, it's also the receivers and even the quarterback too. I mean, you look at Dominique Back, 534 yards. He's 2nd in the GMC in pass yards. He also has 4 touchdowns and hasn't thrown a pick yet.
Sure, there's some kind of dead ball right there. But Back will set up his offense once again with 3 wide. Looks like a little miscommunication. He throws it deep, and he's got a man and the end zone. What a play by this Fairfield offense. It was number 0, Tyon Spiller, to get that one. And that's got to feel good if you're Fairfield.
I mean, that's a great play design. You can't really say much more. And early on, they've been great about this passing game and then the run game. And I really think it goes back. This entire drive was started when that offsides penalty was given. That set them up on 3rd and short. They got it, and now look where they are.
Flags are definitely one of the biggest momentum changes right here as McGuire sets to put this one up for the extra point. And it is good. So 7-7, Fairfield responds late in here in the first quarter. Plenty of time to go, but as of now, it is all tied up 7-7 here on Lakota West Broadcasting. So here we go, coming back after that huge touchdown for Fairfield, showing we're going to compete with you all the way to the end. It might not be the prettiest game, but we're going to get you. Our offense is strong, and you're going to feel it. But, I mean, Andrew, what went wrong there for Lakota West?
Well, really a lot of things, but it was mainly the secondary. I mean, a lot of blown coverage on that drive, and Fairfield took advantage of it pretty easily. They just threw it downfield, chucked it downfield, and got open receivers wide open. So really the 3 plays that have worked for Fairfield have been, throwing it deep, throwing quick screen plays, and then also just running it straight up the middle.
I'm not sure if that was a squib kick or a possible onside kick attempt, but that is going to set Lakota West up with amazing field position right there. And about the 26 plus 15. So, I mean, you do the math. That's got to feel good for Lakota West.
And, you look at really how that drive went. I mean, it was just open coverage and blown coverage, but this offense here coming out, how are they going to respond? Fairfield, they punched back and really got to be feeling uncomfortable right now if you're the Firebirds.
Yeah, but, I mean, when you got Sam Wiles under center, you got to feel confident about this offense. But Wiles do a quick handoff to Davis. Davis cutting up field, and that's a first down right there for Tyson Davis. He's been a strong impact on that run game. He's listed as a receiver, but he gets his impact in on the ground game as that's his 2nd carry tonight.
And you talk about being aggressive early on is really what Fairfield has done. And I think going into this game, they wanted to be aggressive because they knew going up against a team like Lakota West, nothing was going to be easy, and you got to strike and, give yourself an opportunity to win. So with that, maybe onside attempt there, where they were trying to give themselves maybe a chance to pick up possession and really stun this place. But, great touchdown drive, and now coming out here on defense, seeing what they can do.
Miles will get a short game when he takes it. He seems to like doing that. I mean, we saw it a lot last week, but do you like that run-pass option that Sam Wiles loves to do here in the offense?
Well, the thing about it is, when it works really well. We saw it last drive, him getting a huge gain, but when it does not work, it really does not give the offense much, and it usually results in a loss of yards or just a gain of 1 or 0.
So there you go, Tyson Davis with another first down. He's getting involved with his offense.
Good to see Tyson Davis getting involved here. I mean, he's had a little bit of a struggle early on this year, but he's doing a great job here so far tonight. He's making his name known here.
Yeah, only 30 yards coming into this game, but might already have that after this game, or after so far as we've gone. Davis to Norman, and Norman could just not hold on. That's going to be one that he definitely is going to want back.
And when you think about this Fairfield team, you really think it's kind of an interesting team. I mean, losing your best player, one of your best players I've ever seen. He was a great player in Talon Fisher, who just was basically the entire team last year. And you come in, you went 1-9 last year, didn't have really a good season at all. And how are you going to respond? How are you going to play better and really maximize yourself this year? Thought it might be a down year, but so far they're showing they can compete with the best teams in the GMC, and their offense has really looked sharp.
So here we go on 2nd and 10. Wiles in shotgun. He's got Gilbert as extra blocker. Snap goes over his head, and that is recovered by Fairfield. Big play by Fairfield. I believe that one was number 40, Marcos Titterman. And that is not what you want to see for Lakota West.
Just, a tough play right there. Just an overhead snap that just went right over his head. And now you got a good field position for Fairfield. They've got all the momentum. Well, let's see how the Firebirds respond here on defense. They got great players all over that board. I know they had a tough drive last drive, but it's always, it's pretty easy to respond when you're one of the best defenses in the GMC.
I mentioned it a couple weeks ago against Hamilton that, when one facet of this team doesn't work, like we just saw right there with that fumble, the defense or the offense, vice versa, they step up. They say, hey, we're going to cover you for here, but just get us back next time. And, I would hope that the defense does that right here, holding this electric Fairfield offense to 3 or even no points.
Seems to be some confusion here, but line up for the Firebirds. They're going to need a huge stop here. You got guys on the inside, Vincent Giordano, one of the biggest players on the field. He's going to make an impact here, obviously in the trenches, but also you look at that linebacking corps of, those guys, Cam Thomas and Grant Bierman and Micah Markley, that linebacking tandem out there. And it's going to be really hard, for an opposing team on the road. Looks to be a flag on the play.
They've been huddling for a long time. If it's that much, this might be called back, and maybe Lakota West still has this ball.
Yeah, but while we're here waiting, you talk about how these two teams match up. It's really a battle of offense and defense, as we see what the rest have to say here.
After the recovery by Fairfield, we have dead ball, personal fouls that will be offsetting. Number 77 of Lakota West, number 54 of Fairfield, number 77 of Lakota West has been ejected from the game.
So we'll see Christian O'Neill getting ejected. I'm not sure. I didn't see much out there. Did you see anything, Andrew?
I didn't see anything, and I'm not sure where he is on the field, but that is, I haven't seen anyone get ejected in my 3 years here at Lakota West. I've never seen that happen in a football game, in a high school football game here, but that's crazy. He must have done something must have happened, but I'm not sure what. Hopefully, the rest of the game can be played with good sportsmanship and, having a good rest of the game.
So those personal fouls on both teams will offset. So nothing will change, and that was a dead ball play, so Fairfield will keep the ball.
Really just confusing play there, though.
Yeah, I would imagine that Christian O'Neill was snapping there and just some frustration, just couldn't hold that back after the rough play.
We'll have to see here how they respond. A lot of adversity here early on. And after the adversity last week, it's really going to be interesting to see, how can this team handle adversity? We saw it last year. They went through a lot of adversity in the first 2 weeks of the season, but
quick throw to Tyon Spiller, about 2 yards there. Lakota West makes a nice play, set up 2nd and 8, and the no-huddle offense is continuing. And there's a flag right there, and it's looking like a false start, and that is a lucky break for Lakota West.
Just the flags in this game have just been everywhere for both teams, and it's stalling these drives, and it's making it tougher to score.
So here we go on 2nd and 13 as Fairfield runs up to the line. Defense set in a 4-3-4. Quick throw, and that one's just going to be dropped right there by, I believe that was Tyon Spiller. They wanted to get him involved, but just wasn't able to hold on to that ball from Dominic Beck.
Good job there. Looks like they're going for it here. Or no, it's 3rd down and long.
So here we go. Dominic Beck in shotgun, trying to talk to his coach. Looks like this Red Sea might be getting to him. 15 on the play clock here on 3rd and 13. 4-man rush. Back. Looking. Pressure coming. Gets out of it. Rolling to his right. And there is Micah Markley to push him out of bounds. And there's a flag out.
Looks like it's going to be a late hit on the Firebirds, and that's going to be a first down for Fairfield. That's unacceptable, and that can't happen. And now they got a first down and better field position. And
I'm not sure that was a late. Obviously, this is on the other side of the field, but from my angle, I don't think that was a late hit.
It looked like something there. I'm not sure what it was, but Micah Markley, tough break there, and Fairfield's driving down the field.
Lakota West is just getting ruined by these pieces of laundry from the Zebras, but that's a nice run there by George, and to bring up second and about 1 or 2. They'll continue that no-huddle offense, but Lakota West is there to make the play. There is Micah Markley.
And that'll bring up the end of the first quarter here on this beautiful Friday night. We'll be right back with you.
So we'll come back to start this second quarter. Tied up 7-all. Fairfield has the ball deep in Lakota West territory. If you're looking for a stop from this defense, this is the time. Be a quick handoff to George, and we'll see if he got it here on 3rd and 2. Looking like he's short, and there you go. Lakota West does get the stop.
Really feels like, though, if you're Fairfield, you're definitely going to go for this. Such a short 4th down play right here, and with how their offense has been moving, I mean, and how, the field goal unit looks, not great on the season kicking-wise. So I would look to see them go for it here, and I think they will here on 4th and 1.
Especially when you got probably the best running back here in the GMC.
And this could be a huge turning moment here.
We'll go to George up the middle, and there's Grant Bierman to make the play. He says, no thanks. You might be leading the GMC in yards, but I'm right here with my 30-plus tackles to make a quick stop.
Yeah, you might be leading the GMC in yards, but I'm second in the GMC in tackles, and that was a great play right there. Just standing his ground, making a play, and that could be a turning point in this game.
That is some Purdue ball if I've ever seen any. And that is now going to bring up, and I told you, the Lakota West defense, when the offense slips up, defense is there to make a stand, vice versa, whatever it is. I mean, I would expect to see a touchdown here, or at least some points on the board. Say some thanks to the defense for doing some dirty work when they made a quick little mistake.
See here for the Firebirds. Brandon Johnson in the backfield.
Wiles sets up in that shotgun formation. 3rd count, gives it to Johnson. Johnson cutting upfield, and there's that speed you called. And he's just not able to cut upfield before stepping out of bounds. But still a nice play to get that, to bring up 2nd and very short.
And for Braden Johnson, 1 cut upfield, one, making a defender miss, and he could be gone, and he almost was gone right there.
I mean, you saw there was no one in front, and he is going to leave and maybe keep going out the stands. They're out of Westchester, scoring a touchdown. Be a take by Wiles himself, cutting upfield, and that's a first down and much more.
Great ball security there. It looked like Fairfield had a chance to strip it out of his hands, but he was able to hold down on it and make sure he held possession to keep the drive going for the Firebirds. And I like where this drive is going. They're keeping the run game established, and see what they do here.
Wiles had a pretty strong season, except that rough game against Princeton, but looked very, very good against St. X. And we'll see how he does here after that muffed snap, but I'm not sure I would blame him for that. But here we go. Fairfield shows blitz. Some movement on that D line, maybe trying to get a false start call. Motions Norman. He'll give it to Norman. A bit of a fumble there, but he'll take it upfield. No problem, as that's going to be a first down.
Yeah, and it looked like Norman, if he wouldn't have kind of fumbled that a little bit, he probably would have gotten a lot more yardage there. But a good job from the Fairfield defense containing the edge, and still a good pickup, though, for the Firebirds to get the first down.
Come to that line here on 1st and 10. Trying to get a strong drive going. Dink and doink offense, as they love to do under Tom Bolden. Cut up field by Norman, and Norman's going to get about
a hard hit there from Fairfield. And you gotta give respect to what Fairfield's doing here in the early part of the game. They're bringing it on all ends of the field, and they're making sure they don't leave here without giving their best effort.
Imagine, you got to expect this offensive line playing with a little bit more force and pressure after, of course, what happened earlier with Christian O'Neill. Two backs out in the backfield. Fairfield rushes forward. Wiles got a man down deep. He's got Barnett. Drop is up, and the flag comes out. So there you go, Barnett. I told you that explosive offense, and the only way to stop him there was to get in that penalty.
And there's Trey Barnett, the deep threat for the Firebirds. He came on in the first game of the year. Look for him to have a big night tonight. But a great throw from Wiles there. The spiral was nearly perfect, and the ball sat in the air for a long time. And, it would have been right in his arms, but he drew the pass interference, and, it's still a good pickup for the Firebirds.
So there you go. Might not have gotten the catch, might not have gotten those stats, but bringing his impact to the game.
Yeah, sure brought his team in a good position to score here.
So there you go from the 39 of Fairfield territory. Motions Johnson, looking, over the middle. It's caught. Gilbert makes a man fall, and he's into the end zone. Luca Gilbert. There he is. There is a flag on the field there. Not sure what that was, but he trucked him to the ground.
Yeah, and Luca Gilbert, I mean, that's just a play that could really, explode his season. As looks like the flag can be
waved off, and I saw Bolden fall to his knees. Thought he might be getting
touchdown counts, and that's Luca's first of the year, and that's a great way to get him started. He's kind of been having a slump over these past few weeks. Great job there, keeping control of the ball, and then just a straight hit stick right into the Fairfield defender to set up the touchdown. Great job there from Luca Gilbert.
So we'll see Jacob Seats kick this one away for the extra point. Flag on the play. I would imagine some movement on the line. And it is going to be on Lakota West, going to just push up 5 yards back.
Procedure on the offense, number 45, 5-yard penalty, retry.
So we'll keep Seats out there. Senior, just trying to get him some reps as well. So you have a couple of kickers out there that can do their job. Kick is up. And it is good. So we'll have a 14-7 ball game after it looked like might be 14-7 Fairfield. Lakota West gets more points on the board, showing that Fairfield might have an explosive offense, but so does Lakota West here on Lakota West Broadcasting. So we'll return here for the kick from a Dubafor, and I would imagine that one's going to go right through the back of the end zone as he tends to do. Ref's doing a quick call out, but I think we're all good here. Back to the matter of hand. Andrew, I heard you say it earlier, but, you know, getting Gilbert involved, what does that do for this Lakota offense moving forward?
I mean, I think it really energizes them because Luka is one of the leaders of this team. And, you know, having been one of the leaders of the team, he has been kind of struggling in the past game. Obviously, he's a great blocker, but you want to see him get involved more in really catching the ball and running with it. And like he did there, the truck, that can really elevate a team, get them energized, and I think they are energized now. I think you're going to see the momentum of this game really shift here. Look for this defense to be aggressive and look for a huge defensive play on this drive.
Yeah, you got to hope. I mean, pass defense has struggled. Dominic Back, one of the best quarterbacks here in the GMC in just his first year as a starter. Be 5 wide, quick throw out to George, and he'll get wrapped up there by the Lakota West defense, swarming like flies there to get over there and make the play.
Yeah, great job there.
They'll hustle to the line once again in just 10 seconds. They'll get that snap done. Pressure coming. Back steps up in the pocket, and he goes down for another Lakota West sack.
That's a great play there. Getting inside on the interior and making a play.
Braden Zerlinden there to make that sack. And this pass rush started off a little slow. No sacks in that first game in St. X, but they have definitely heated up. I believe that's their second or third here tonight. So here we go. Dominic Back in shotgun. Pressure comes. They show blitz, and he's going to go down once again. And, man, has this front seven stepped up.
Yeah, and I talked about it. You know, defense is going to make a huge play here, and it does. And that brings up a 4th down for the Firebirds to put up some more points on the board here.
And that was Riley Newman making a play there. Fans show some love for him, as I believe that's his first sack here of the season. So on 4th and 6, we'll see Aiden McGuire punt this one away to Reese Mason. I want to see him get a return just to bring that confidence up because he has been an explosive returner this year other than that rough muff punt from last game against Princeton.
Almost blocked there, but
McGuire is leveled, and that's not going to go maybe to the 50-yard line.
There looks to be a flag in the play. This might be roughing the punter or something of that nature.
I would believe so because I saw him get leveled right there. I think that was on, but we'll see from the ref. I do see all the players walking back to the line, so I would assume this is on Lakota West.
And, man, that's just a tough, tough break as it looks to be on the Firebirds. Not sure.
Ooh, I think that was...
On the defense, number 5, 5-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
And it'll be 4th and 1, actually, so I think they'll keep the punting unit on the field.
They are deep in that territory. It looks like the ref thought it was 5 yards back. So they'll reset here on 4th and 1. They will have Reese Mason back once again. Not sure if maybe we'll see some Fairfield trickery. I doubt it, though. They're deep in their own territory. Lakota West looks to try to block this one. They already got 2 this season. I believe it was 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. You know, I believe they got a punt block against St. Xavier in that opener, but I'm not sure. But that special teams unit is definitely something to watch out for. Obviously, special teams needs to be better in this game, and they have been better. They're doing a great job of getting good field position here tonight. And
Guire will punt this one away. A nice long punt. Bouncing to Mason. Mason going to take it. He's got some room in a blocker. He's cutting upfield, makes a man miss, and there you go. That is the one you got to see. He's still on his feet. He stayed in bounds. Mason all the way into the end zone. And there you go. Talk about redemption.
Reese Mason, the electricity that he just brought as a flag comes down on the play, and that is going to bring this one back. Very unfortunate there, but still, though, just an amazing play there from Reese Mason.
That's got to be frustrating. I thought he stepped out, and then he just kept on going. Still, like you said, an incredible return.
Yeah, and showing off his speed and his ability to keep his balance, stay in bounds, and deliver all the way to the end zone. Fortunately, it's not going to count.
That's a blindside block on the return team. 15-yard penalty. First down for Lakota West.
So it still will be Lakota West ball, I believe, in Fairfield territory, just not all the way inside that touchdown. But still an incredible return. I believe that was 40 yards there.
Yeah, great job, and I think they still have great field position here at the 41. So, still going to come out here and try to make some plays on, this offensive possession. But really looking at Wiles, how he's done so far this year. 3 touchdowns on the year, 2 interceptions in the past game, but 3 touchdowns also on the ground, and 131 rushing yards with 309 passing yards. So
tack on some more rush yards after those big runs he's had here tonight.
Yeah, he's been an aerial threat and a threat on the ground.
Taking himself, like you said, cutting up field, making man miss before he's wrapped up right there by Gabe Ross. But still nice gain there to bring up second and short.
He was brought down by number 4, Gabe Ross.
And Fairfield, this is a crucial moment in this game. You get ball to start the second half. You'd love to get a stop here to put yourself in a good situation, but you still want to make yourself have, a chance to get yourself back in this game. And I did make a mistake there. Fairfield actually kicks off to start the second half, so this makes it even more crucial here to get a stop on this possession. As the Firebirds tack on another touchdown here, it could look
another rough snap there. Wiles lucky to hold on to it, but it's going to be a big loss.
Yeah, as I was saying, it could look very bad, going into the second half if you're down a few scores already, and West starts it with the ball in the second half.
See a little scuffle there by Rogan McKinney, but no flags will come out as we'll bring up 3rd and 6. I mean, talk about crucial. Against an explosive offense like this, you cannot go down 2 touchdowns going into half, especially when West gets to receive the ball. So, I mean, man, this is a huge play for Fairfield, 3rd and 6. It's that area where Wiles, might take it himself, might throw it. It's a dangerous area to be for Fairfield. Motions Norman. Pump fakes it to Norman. He's got a man deep. He's got Gilbert. And there's Gilbert over the middle of the field for another first down.
What a play from Luka Gilbert. He was able to make that diving catch there, and he's really been involved so far tonight, making his presence known as he's back in this one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that is impressive at 6'8", being able to make a diving catch like that. I mean, that is not easy for a tall person like himself to do.
Yeah, and the coordination right there was just great. I mean, it's very hard when you're that tall to be able to, use that hand-eye coordination to make a type of catch diving into the ground. But he was doing a great job of there as Johnson cuts to the outside, and he'll get it in the end zone.
Braden Johnson for a 2nd touchdown of the game, making his presence known. I mean, he's taken a bit of a back seat to Kenyon Norman, but he is making his presence known as he does a bit of a celebration there with Sam Wiles. 2nd touchdown of the game, and this offense is playing incredible.
I mean, a great job there, bouncing out to the outside for Braden Johnson after last week where he kind of had a little bit of a struggle week, but a great job here tonight for the Firebirds. They got 20 on the board. They're looking to add another extra point here.
And there you go, 21-7. Lakota West will head to break with 5:10 left in this first half. But, I mean, man, it's got to feel good if you're a Lakota West Firebird. 21-7 here on Lakota West Broadcasting.
Yeah.
So we will return here for, we'll see Dubois punt this one away to Fairfield. But man, what a first half offense. It looked like, the Firebirds might have been in a bit of a rump after that snap over Wiles' head, but they came right back. Defense got a stop, and Lakota West Firebirds offense got 2 touchdowns on the board, plus that first one from Johnson to make it 21-7.
Yeah, and I think we've really seen both teams' identities so far in this game. We see the rushing attack of Lakota West, and then, the defense of Fairfield is just not great. I mean, it's 9th in rushing defense in the GMC. They give up 166.7 yards per game, and they're also 6th in passing defense. So, defensively speaking, the Firebirds are a great defensive team, and Fairfield's just not that great. And, when you compare both of the offenses, Fairfield's is obviously a great offense, but Lakota West also is just great. And, they've played tough teams this year. So now they're going against a lighter defense. They're able to really, flex their muscles.
So a nice run up the middle for George to bring up 2nd and a few, as there's a little bit of pushing and shoving there down in the trenches. But looking at this rivalry, Lakota West has won 4 of the last 5. Another run there to George up the middle. He breaks free. And lucky for Lakota West that Fenn Mason was there to make that tackle, because he might have been gone if not for that.
Yeah, when you talk about this rivalry between Fairfield and Lakota West, you talk about last year, the Firebirds coming into Fairfield and just dominating that game from start to finish. I mean, Sam Wiles, his debut as a Firebird starting quarterback, they won 33-0, and they just had a great time in a game where both teams were 0-2. So now, this year, another early season matchup, and looks like Fairfield came in, a little bit more confident to this one, but Firebirds still up big here.
So bring up a long 3rd down after that Dominic Black 1-yard game. But yeah, in that game, Lakota West had a safety and a fumble recovery touchdown. So, I mean, defense was scoring some points there, more points than that Fairfield offense. But here we go, here on 3rd and long, see if this defense can make another stand. Back, steps up the pocket, looks at a man, takes it himself. He's got a 1st down and more, making man miss. And that'll be a big play until he's tackled by Finn Mason into that Lakota West territory.
When you talk about Dominique Back, one of those guys that can do it both on the ground and through the air, he's got 141 yards.
George taking it up the middle, makes a man miss, and he's showing his speed as he's makes it into the end zone. He is knocked out there at the 1-yard line, 1 or 2 yard line. What a run by him. I mean, he's showing off that speed. He was getting a little shut down so far this drive, except for a couple of runs. And then there he goes down the sideline. Fairfield continuing that no-huddle offense. A lot of guys down there. You got to expect a run, but he will throw it right there to, I believe, Tyon Spiller, about 1 or 2 yards.
And when you talk about this explosive offense, and Tyler George is the first name that comes up, he was able to break away there, and his 2nd huge run of the night, and he's just, he's a meatball on the football field, bouncing off defenders, making plays, and great job there.
Back, looks over the middle, got a man, and it is a touchdown. Right there is Braden Miller, one of those top guys you were mentioning earlier. Fairfield letting West know, we're still in this one.
And the X factor coming through right there. And it looks like tonight, Fairfield's not backing down just yet. We talked about how West was up big. Now they cut that deficit down to a score. And it looks like there's going to be a lot of fireworks tonight with what we've seen so far.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what a run by George, and then that just tight throw by Dominic Back. The 2 guys on this offense that really lead them victory. So McGuire will have the snap, the hold, the kick, and it is good. So 21-14 here for Lakota West. This game might get a little competitive, Andrew, but we'll only have to see with the last 27 minutes of this ball game. So here we go. We'll come back to watch McGuire kick this one away to Reese Mason. But, Andrew, what went wrong on that drive for Lakota West to allow that big touchdown?
Well, really, it was Fairfield's offense doing a great job, and an explosive play down the field for Tyler George, his ability to break through the tackles, and that offensive line of Fairfield creating holes for him. And, West was just not able to tackle in space, and it led to a huge gain for Fairfield. But
short kick, Mason going to take this one up. He's got a hole. He's going to take it. Cutting up field. Still going, staying on his feet almost to that 50-yard line. His returning ability, talk about an X factor on the special teams. He just does not stop. I mean, he has continued to make incredible. Whenever they give him an opportunity, he's going to take that one as far as he can go, and he's going to try his absolute best to get as many yards as he can.
Yeah, and you talk about X factors and a weapon you can use. Everyone thinks of offense and defense as the main part of the game, but special teams, a huge factor in the game, and Reese Mason showing it right there. He has just been a huge, great player tonight. Obviously, a tough game for him last week with that muffed punt, but he's bounced back really well this week.
For sure. If only that touchdown had counted, it would have felt great. Quick handoff to Braden Johnson, up the gut. He'll get a nice gain there to bring up second down.
And Brandon Johnson, we've seen a lot more of him tonight. And, looking to see a little bit more of Kenyon Norman. He had a great first, drive, but haven't seen much of him since then as that offense has continued to run through Wiles and Johnson.
A lot of guys on this team that doesn't matter who it is, they're going to make a positive impact. So Wiles in shotgun, high snap. Takes it himself, going up the gut. Runs into his own man, and that's unfortunate. Almost got a few more yards there. But that's going to bring up, I believe, a first down.
Looks like it'll be third and very short here. As it'll be first down, actually.
So here we go with play clocks are turned off. I'm not quite sure why. Must be some malfunction out there. Fairfield shows blitz. They rush three. Wiles, plenty of time in the pocket. Has a man over the middle. That's Barnett, and that's another first down for Lakota West. They are just biting their way down. After a nice return from Mason, we've got a couple nice plays from Lakota West.
Great job there for Barnett, hauling that one in, and Wiles delivering pinpoint accuracy on the inside there, and it brings up another first down for the Firebirds. Looks like they're just going to let this clock run down a little bit, try to, score before Fairfield gets another chance to score, and they'll get the ball after half too. So if they can score here, they'll get the ball up 14.5 or up 10, depending on what they choose to do here.
Yeah, they don't want to see this explosive Fairfield offense get it back. He'll throw it deep. He's got a man that goes over a few heads, and it's into the end zone. Tyson Davis. He's right there. He's exactly where Wiles needed him to be. You thought it might have been a high throw, but no, he's got a plan for another Lakota West touchdown. This has been a shootout.
And I mean, first off, it looked like he might have thrown a pick there. It did not look like a good throw at all, but, you like the right idea. He was trying to get it to Davis, and it worked, and he was able to haul it in. And, wow, what a day so far for this Firebird offense.
What an incredible throw. I mean, like you said, I thought it was at least going to be an incompletion. It looked like a double cover throw, I believe, to Barnett. But no, Tyson Davis is back there. As Lakota West will put this one up, and it is good. So here we go. 1:17 on the clock. We'll see if Fairfield tries to get a play going or if they just run this clock out. You got to imagine they got to be aggressive down 2 touchdowns. Of course, Lakota West gets it back. But time will only tell with 1:17 left on the clock here on Lakota West Student Broadcasting. So here we come back, 28-14. And as we watch Adu before kick this one away, Andrew, I mean, you mentioned it earlier. It's been high scoring. Do you think you'll see more or less defense in the second half?
I think we'll see, the same amount of defense. I think it's still going to be a shootout in the second half. I don't think Fairfield's, I think they're going to keep bringing it. I don't think they're going anywhere. With how their running back has played, Tyler George here tonight, they got to continue to be aggressive here. They got to try to go down here and at least get a field goal on the board because you do not want to go into halftime down 14 against West with the way their offense has played, with how they usually have done in the second half of these games. You don't want to give them a chance to run up the score on you.
So here we go. Both these offenses are no joke. Stats have not told the full story for West. Bierman coming off that left side trying to make an impact, and that'll get maybe to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard.
And if I'm Fairfield here, I'm looking to punish Lakota West down the field. There's not really, much down there.
Back looking over the middle. Nice catch there by Darion Profit, number 3.
57 seconds left in the half. I'm looking to punish them down the field. With how their offense is done, they've gotten so many wide open shots down the field. You think they maybe get one here, too.
Pressure coming. Back rolling out to the left. He's got time. Throws it over the middle, and it's just a little short right there to Ashion Ruff. But he had him there a little bit open, just kind of threw it there.
Yeah,
but that will stop the clock. Keep in mind, both teams do have all 3 timeouts.
Yeah, and you can tell Fairfield, they're trying to get something going down the field in the pass game here. I look to get Darion Profit, a guy who had that huge first gain for Fairfield on that massive completion. Look to get him involved here. He had a nice catch there on that second down play as well.
Back looking, quick throw. Right over the middle, and that's Tyon Spiller again. One of those X-Factor players. And that's going to keep the clock running, but I believe
be 3rd and 7 here.
So there you go. West might try to score here as they call a timeout. We'll take a short break here. We'll see if Lakota West can get a stop and maybe get some more points on the board here on Lakota West Student Broadcasting. So after a strong defensive hold, we'll see, I believe, 3rd and 7 here. But Andrew, I mean, if West gets his ball back, do you think they're going to try to score with just under 30 seconds to go?
Yeah, I think they could definitely look to score here with, not much time remaining on the clock, only about 30 seconds, but they still have a very explosive offense. And, they got guys on the outside that St. Wallace can go deep to with, guys like Trey Barnett and Tyson Davis there on the outside. Tyson Davis had, that touchdown catch right there. It was a great play. And,
definitely talk about Trey Barnett. He has been an explosive guy. Doesn't get the most amount of catches, but definitely has been very explosive throughout the season. But none of that can happen unless they get this stop. Just 37 seconds left to go. Lakota West wants to stop and maybe get more points on this board. Let Mason know that they're not going to let off the gas just because they're up a couple scores. But here we go, back in shotgun. He's got George to his left. 4-man rush. Back looking. Looked like a bit of holding there. He's got a man deep, and that is just a little overthrown. We see no flags on either side. Thought they might call a little pass interference or holding at the line, but we will see none.
Yeah, and like I said, it's really been just, a little bit of overthrows here from back. He's had guys downfield that have been open, but just hasn't been able to put it right on the money. And it's tough for a guy like him, first-year starter coming in and, just wasn't able to get it. But still, you know, a good experience going against a tough defense like Lakota West. Still a good job putting 14 points on the board. I guess the defense as good as Lakota.
Yeah, I mean, 19 points per game allowed for West, and they've already got 14, so they're on pace to do better than the average, especially when you look at some of the offensive West have played this year. St. X, Hamilton, Princeton, all very, very capable offenses. But here we go. Eddie McGuire will punt this one away to Reese Mason. He'll see no pressure. Mason has to backpedal a little bit. He'll take it, though. And there's not going to be much there. Just be a short little gain. 21 seconds left for Lakota West. If they want to score here, I'm not sure if they have the time. They might be able to get in field range. And honestly, if I'm West, you got a guy in Kofi Dufour, one of the best, if not the best kickers in the league. I would just try to get in that field range, and let's just see what he can do with that leg.
Yeah, you know, you want to get him experience kicking longer field goals because, you know, later on in the season, you know, you're going to be in moments where you need a long field goal, and Kofi's the guy you got. So, but we'll see what they do here. 21 seconds. They got 2 timeouts. They have time. We'll see what they can do.
Wiles got Barnett. Barnett playing on against that soft coverage defense. Still 16 seconds on the clock. Nice play from him. You know, just they're playing that prevent defense, but they're still able to get some yards.
Yeah, and 16 seconds remaining here. We'll see what Wiles can do as he goes back to the right side here. Nice completion there on the sideline.
Got Luka Gilbert. That's his 3rd catch of the game. He's been playing incredible.
Yeah,
so
good to
far.
see him getting going in the pass game. And you got 12 seconds. You can get yourself into Kofi range here. Get to maybe the 35. You got yourself a good chance of getting him into field goal range.
So his longest was 42. Wiles looking. Sets up the screen play to Johnson. Johnson's got room to run. He's over the middle. Still going. Breaking tackles. And there you go in that 32-yard line. Lakota West calls a timeout. So there you go. Kofi Dufour range. Like you said, he should be able to hit this one through. If we've seen anything so far, I believe they'll take a 30-second timeout here with the second of the game.
But what a great job. Great execution going into halftime. You know, even if he doesn't make the kick, you go back and you watch film and you tell yourself, I mean, this was a great job by this offense, executing, getting down the field. Wiles looks so much more, you know, polished this week in the way he's been able to deliver these throws and deliver this team what looks to be, you know, what should be a win if they can, you know, continue to get down the field.
Yeah, you see Dufour already out there on the field. He just wants to kick this one and get it over with. Don't let the nerves get to him at all. But yeah, like you said, later on the season, that 2-minute drill as well as getting Kofi some practice on these deep kicks. I believe that is a 49-yarder. The fans are cheering. They just want to see a nice kick from a Dufour. To go up 31-14 would be massive for Lakota West.
And this would be just a huge kick here. I mean, this crowd would go wild if he knocks this one through, but we'll have to see what he can get done here.
So here we go. Be held by Jaden Brogdon. Snap is up. Kick is up. And he will not have the range, but that is just fine for Lakota West as it is 28-14 going to half. Before I send you guys off, there will be a QR code on screen. Make sure to click it. You know, get some West Press articles, and you know, there's some sports articles, political articles, whatever you want to watch. But go to the bathroom, get a drink, go get something to eat. But no matter what, be back here in 20 minutes to see the second half of this incredible game here on Lakota West Student Broadcasting.
That wasn't funny.
So here we come back for the second half. And Andrew, both offenses have been incredible, but what for both teams, whatever it is, rushing, passing, what has been like best for working for either team?
Well, for Fairfield, it has really been a little bit of both. I mean, you talk about Dominic Back, how he's done in the passing game, 11 of 15, 122 yards and 2 touchdowns. And you also look at Tyler George, the running back for that team, has just been amazing, and it really has fueled their team to keep them in this game, in a game which Lakota West has also played amazing. Sam Wiles, 9 of 10, 189 yards and 2 touchdowns. You're going to have a hard time finding a stat line at halftime that is better than that one. I mean, that's near perfect, just near a perfect game for Sam Wiles so far. And also, you look at the rushing attack for Lakota West. Wiles has the most rushing yards with 71, but Braden Johnson also with 36. And then Luca Gilbert getting himself involved, 3 catches for 77 yards and a touchdown. So they've really spread out the offenses on both sides, for both teams here tonight.
Lakota West has over 300 yards of offense here in the first half. That is incredible. And we'll see Wiles get some more on a big run. There's no one. Wiles going all the way to the 27. What a run for him. That's got to put him over 100 rushing yards. What a run for Wiles.
I mean, just straight down the middle, using his speed and the offensive line, creating the hole where he was able to get right through, and just a great play from Wiles.
And everything on this offense has been clicking. This is what we wanted to see at the beginning of the season. You know, the tandem of running backs between Wiles. It's really a committee, almost a town at this point of running backs. You have Kenyon Norman, Braden Johnson, and Sam Wiles running it. And, of course, some strong receivers who can always make an impact. But we'll see where Wiles chooses right here as he makes a short throw to Braden Johnson. He's got some room to run. He'll cut to the right. He's got room before he's shoved out of bounds inside the 5 to set up a nice scoring position for Lakota West.
And already Lakota West getting themselves right where they want to be. They're trying to make quick work of this Fairfield defense here early on in this second half. 2 plays and 2 huge first downs, and now they set up shop right on Fairfield's goal line.
Well, Wiles has Gilbert as an extra blocker to his left. We'll see if there's a designed run that way. And no, he'll take it to the right. And there's no one there. Wiles wants a touchdown. And they won't give it to him. They'll say it's at the 1.
And it'll be 2nd and goal, but all they need is just less than a yard here. Looks like you might bring out maybe the tush push or something of that nature here to pick up this touchdown right here. But the offensive line doing a great job blocking here. I would not be surprised to just see a run straight up the middle.
I will see if we see a 3rd touchdown for Braden Johnson here, his 2nd from the 1-yard line. As he is to Wiles' left. Motion Gilbert. It'll be a give to Johnson. Trying to get that angle, and he's got it. Braden Johnson with his 3rd touchdown of the night. A big lead for Lakota West, and Fairfield's winning chances are slipping.
What a play right there. I mean, it was really all the offensive line creating the hole for Johnson, just running straight through, and the Firebirds extend their lead here. We might have a lot of fireworks, but really the Firebirds right now are starting to run away with this thing.
You see that extra impact from Luca Gilbert in the blocking. Might not have the most receiving yards on the team, but he makes an impact in the run game for sure, as we'll see it do before we put this one up. Kick is up, and it's blocked. Fairfield got the angle. I believe that was John Abraham off that left side, the number 21. I'm not sure. I believe that was him, but there you go. That could be a momentum switch going into this break, but we will take a short step aside. 34-14. Fairfield needs a response. So after Braden Johnson's third touchdown of the game, Lakota West has to feel confidence going in. Do you expect to see some more pass-heavy, just get some more points on the board, or will Bolden choose more of a passive approach to finish out the second half?
Well, I think Bolden wants to keep his players healthy, and the best way to do that is to get the clock running and get your running game going. And right now, that's what they're doing here in this second half. So I would expect more run game, but for Fairfield, they're going to need to continue to get the ball, try to get it down the field. They've had open looks throughout this game, and they've had drives where they've scored, but their defense has not been able to hold enough to keep them level in this game. So we'll have to see here if their offense can just keep them afloat.
Be interesting to see if Fairfield's offense continue that no huddle up to the line, or if they will, start to slow it down, just try to get some points on the board. So Dominic back in shotgun. He'll give it to George, the power back, and he is going to get stuffed to bring up second and long.
Good job there by the D-line. It's really stepped up here and prevented Fairfield from getting what they want to get on these last couple of drives. Is
back trying to get that angle, and he's just not able to. Nice play right there by Cam Thomas to get the angle on him. I mean, talk about hustle, getting down the field and, making the play to push him out of bounds, because if he gets around there, he's got some room to run.
And now we see a third and long here. West defense loves these third and longs.
Back, looking, pressure coming, gets it out. And that is just out of reach for Darian Profit. And that's going to bring up fourth and long, and the punting unit comes onto the field.
Great job there defensively for the Firebirds. They get the ball right back into the hands of Sam Wiles and that explosive offense with Braden Johnson in the backfield. And, I mean, I don't know what's going to stop this team from scoring here. I mean, their offense is just doing whatever they want at this point in the game.
And you said they'll have to rely on the offense. I mean, if the defense is making plays like that, they may not need to. But we'll see McGuire punt this one down to Reese Mason there at about the 45-yard line. Good snap. Kick is up. No pressure. Mason will call for the fair catch, and he'll have to lunge a little, but he will get a good possession there. So we'll take a short step aside before Lakota West tries to go to work here against Fairfield on Lakota West Student Broadcasting. So we'll come back here on this 1st and 10 for Lakota West, trying to get some more points on the board as Wiles takes the shotgun snap. He'll take it himself up the field, and that's a nice gain for Wiles, still staying alive before he is brought down there by number 95, Sincere Armstrong.
And again, it's the Sam Wiles taker, and right now it is taking this Fairfield defense and putting them into the ground, and the Firebirds are taking control of this one. They score here, and, they might have some of their younger guys come in and play some snaps because this one is looking to be, almost over.
So here we go. Wiles with an empty backfield. Shotgun snap. Receivers go out. Wiles, he goes deep. He's got Barnett in the end zone. And it's just broken up. No flag on the play.
And that's one of those plays where you just think we're on the same team. It looked like the other receiver might have been Norman, came in and kind of broke it up instead. He thought it might have been coming to him, but it looked like it was going to Barnett. Looked like it would have been a touchdown. That was a beautiful ball. I mean, you talk about Sam Miles being a great runner. We underrate his passing ability, especially downfield. It was a great throw, but just unable to come up with a catch there. As the Firebirds, still though, that was something that you look forward to it if you continue to get those plays down the field.
For sure, and Wiles on that 2nd and long. He'll give it to Johnson. That'll be a nice gain to bring up 3rd and manageable. But yeah, I mean, for a mistake like that, you got to be happy that it's happening now, up 20 on Fairfield, and not, in a tight game against Princeton, Moeller, St. X, one of those tougher teams and this area of Ohio and southeastern Ohio. But definitely, you wish you could get that touchdown, but definitely the best time to make that rough play.
Yeah, and it was wasn't necessarily a rough play, but just a play that can be kind of experimental.
Wiles rolling to his right, pressure coming, gets it out, and looked like maybe pass interference, but they won't call it. Barnett was almost there, just a little underthrown by Wiles, and that'll bring up 4th and 7.
Wiles looking like he wants to go for it, but that'll bring out the punting unit, as looks to be the smart decision here. You're up 20 at home, and in the second half, you just want to make sure you leave tonight with a win.
So here we go. We'll see Joe Marquette punt this one away. Punt is up. High flyer. And that one will go into the back of the end zone. We'll take a short step aside, but we'll see how Fairfield can react after a nice defensive play to get a nice stop. So we'll see George take a nice gain up the middle. That'll be a nice play to bring up 2nd and short.
And, good job there for Fairfield. They're trying to get back in this game. You got to establish the run, and you pick up a lot on first down. They get it back to George here. But on this drive here, I really want to see another, keeping that fast tempo up. You still got a lot of time left in this game. If your defense can continue to get stops like that, and your offense can sort of gain the rhythm here, you get yourselves, at least, back within a couple scores this game.
Dominic back will hand it off again, and George has just been a power back tonight. And I'll bring up 3rd down. Excuse me, 2nd and 9. So back, play action pass. He's got a man deep. And that's broken up on the play. Nice defensive presence by Colin Ogletree to get the incompletion.
And just another play where Dominic back, if he just puts maybe a little bit more on it there, in the early part of the game, he wanted to put a little less on it, and he kind of over measured there, and he put a little less, too little on it, and now you see it caught his receiver behind him, and he wasn't able to come up with a catch.
So Dominic back is a very capable quarterback. We'll see what he does here on 3rd and 9. Pressure coming. Has a man over the middle, and it's just overthrown. And that's going to bring up 4th and 9 and another punt for Fairfield.
And again, we bring up the accuracy of Dominic back. He's a very capable quarterback, as you said. But sometimes some of these throws, you just feel like if you connected on them, Fairfield would be in a lot better spot than they are right now. But, it's a learning experience for a guy who's a first-time starter this year. He's going to look at this film. He's going to see what he has to improve on, and that's a good job.
So here we go. We'll see Aiden McGuire kick this one away once again to Reese Mason. And we'll see what he can do here in the return game. West looks to bring the blitz here.
Yeah, like you said, Reese Mason, one of those guys.
Ooh.
That's the
snapped over his head, and that looks like it's going to be a safety. Or he dropped it. McGuire was not able to fall on it.
And looks like it's a safety for the Firebirds.
What a rough play for Fairfield. I thought McGuire wasn't able to fall on it, and that was going to be a touchdown for West, but the refs will call that a safety. Still incredible for West, and they now get, possession plus 2 points.
And you talk about how this game is kind of compared to last year's game. 2 years in a row, West gets a safety, and right there, just an obscure play, but, the snap over the head has happened to both teams tonight, and there it resulted in a safety for the Firebirds.
Yeah, you got to wish, for Aiden McGuire's sake, he had some duct tape on his hands to pull that one in because it's just a little over his head, and that bad bounce as well. And you got to went all the way to the end zone.
You got to be wondering what it was running through his mind as he was trying to get that ball picked up while, these big Lakota West defenders are coming through trying to get him down. So, definitely not in the position he wanted to be in, but, you know, at least he got out of it safe. And as we'll see here, Fairfield going to have to kick it away back to the Firebirds, who look to extend their lead here as they're already up 22 in the third quarter.
7:32 left. If you're West, you're just trying to get through this game with no major injuries. And I think they're at least going to get through this one. Like you said, up 22. You know, looked like it might have been a little close at the start of this game. Both teams were just going back and forth. Fairfield looked like they were going to take the edge early after the snap over Wiles' head. But then West defense, they just came through for the Firebirds. And now Lakota West is in possession to take home this game. So here we go on the kick from McGuire. Be a short one to Mason. Mason will choose to take this one out. Cutting up field up past the 50-yard line.
And again, great field position for Lakota West. I mean, they have a chance to really open up this game here. Another touchdown, and that would probably put this thing away. But, you know, still a good experiment tonight for Fairfield. They got out there, and they had some good drives, you know, and a lot of the time it was just missed throws, really, from the quarterback. It was like I thought they've coached a great game so far, offensively at least. You know, getting their guys out in space and trying to get the ball down the field, but you know, just unable to connect on some of those plays.
And I know Coach Boland's got some happy tears in his eyes after seeing the special teams make a hustle play and get the 2 extra points for this Firebirds defense. Their first safety here of the season. So that one will go up the field to, I believe, Tyson Davis there for a nice gain.
Yeah, but you talk about, you know, how West has to be feeling after this one. It's got to be kind of bittersweet because, you know, obviously their offense has played amazing, and they only have allowed 14 points here tonight. But they have a lot of plays where Fairfield could have had huge gains, you know, if not for missed throws. So definitely some holes in this defense, some things that are going to need to be worked on going into next week's game on the road at Middletown.
Yeah, and you got to talk about the penalties as well. That has been a killer for West. Wild's going to take it himself. Got nice blocks, and he'll get a solid gain to bring up second down.
And again, you know, using the run game. But if I were Coach Bolton, I would maybe stray away a little bit here from giving the ball to Wiles. I understand, you know, he's a running quarterback, but you want to keep him healthy because he really is, you know, the identity to this team. The ability for him to run the ball the way he does and to pass the ball the way he does. You want to keep him up and conditioned and ready to go.
So here we go. He's got Johnson to his left. We'll see if he takes your advice here. A lot of guys on that offensive line. Very tight formation. He'll take it himself. Nice hole, and should be a first down, if not very, very close to one.
Just a great job there, again, blocking from the offensive line. Fairfield's defenders have to be gassed. They've been on the field so long this game and really just haven't had enough, you know, juice in them to be able to stop this explosive Firebird offense who, you know, through the first few weeks of the season we were kind of questionable about, but I think tonight we got our answer that this still is one of the premier offenses in the GMC.
For sure. I mean, all on both sides of the ball, West has excelled. Wiles sets up the play, and there's Fairfield to shut down Braden Johnson. I believe that one was done by John Abraham. Bring up a loss of 1.
Tackle was made by number 21, John Abramson.
Here's second down in 11 for the Firebirds. I would look here, try to get, you know, another run going. Maybe let Wiles take it himself here. But you don't really need, you know, a lot of points. You just want to kind of keep possession.
Wiles will throw. Nice catch by Barnett.
And what a control catch there from Barnett. Being able to come down with it and control it with his body, and it sets up good position for the Firebirds.
So that'll be his third catch of the game. Crucial play to bring up third and a lot more manageable than 11. 7-yard gain on the play there. Play clock back up and working. That one will tick down to 15. Lakota West gets set for this 3rd and 4. A lot of blockers have been in throughout this drive. Wiles going to take it himself, and he has got the first down and more as this offensive line continues to push the pile. Strong play right there.
Yeah, and a 1st and goal here coming up for the Firebirds. Just, continuing to just push that pile and gas these defenders. I mean, they've gone through a lot tonight, and West on the doorstep once again.
Talk about the doorstep. This is territory West has excelled in. 1st and 6, these short plays, for a rushing offense, it's going to be pretty hard to stop Braden Johnson and Sam Wiles. And if they pass it, they got some guys there as well. Wiles looking into the end zone. Incomplete pass. I think that one might have been tipped by Fairfield. And I think that play was blown up immediately.
Yeah, really good job there from Fairfield stopping that play. We haven't given them much praise tonight on the defensive side of the ball, but that was a good job there. And, they knew exactly what was coming, it looked like, and they were able to stop Wiles from getting another touchdown.
As those defensive backs, it's blown up instantly. They read that not just like a book, but like how my grandma reads, her ingredients list before she makes some good old cookies.
A beautiful, beautiful simile right there. But I do agree with you on that one.
But I guess everyone's grandma's makes the best cookies, as that one is just out of reach for Trey Barnett to bring up 3rd and 6.
Yeah, sound like kind of a broken play there. Miscommunication by Wiles, and
just try to get the ball out, not throw any turnovers that might lead to some Fairfield points.
Yeah.
So on 3rd and 6, we'll see if Coach Bolin chooses to take the passive approach and just run the ball and just try to burn some clock off, or if they'll try to go for this touchdown.
Well, if I know Coach Bolden, I know he's going to try to get in the end zone here. He understands, time and possession, but he knows he wants to continue to get the score up. He wants to continue to build confidence with these players, and the best way to get experience for later games is to get those reps in.
So West, after a rough miscommunication, they'll have to call a timeout right there. With just 3 minutes and 35 seconds on the clock, West right there in scoring position. We'll see what they can do on 3rd down here on Lakota West Student Broadcasting. So we'll return for this 3rd and 6. We'll see what Wiles in this offense chooses to do and, what way they'll be able to score this touchdown.
And there's a lot of chances here to get into the end zone, but look to get something on the outside here.
Wiles takes a snap, going to take it himself, flips it to Johnson. Johnson goes in, and it will be his 4th of the game. You said he had a slow start, but tonight he has been the power plant for this offense. He has brought the energy. 4 touchdowns on the day for him. What a game he is having here tonight.
Yeah, and he's really just kind of stung this Fairfield defense like a stingray does when you step on it in the ocean. Just a great job tonight. But 4 touchdowns, getting them on the board, and a 4-touchdown lead for the Firebirds.
So that'll be, I believe, Jacob Seats kicking that one up, and it'll be 43-14. The waning minutes of this game. Fairfield needs a break. They need some points on this board if they want to get back into this game. 43-14 here on Lakota West Student Broadcasting. So we'll come back here in this third quarter as Lakota West kicks this one away after the 4th touchdown of the game for Braden Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, he's just really electrocuted Fairfield defense here tonight on the ground. You know, hasn't had that many explosive plays, but when it comes to being in the red zone and getting the ball, he's been able to do a lot of things.
So we'll see how this defense can come out here and play against this Fairfield offense, which has been strong all year, but Lakota West defense said, no, you're going cold tonight. You'll have to hide in an igloo if you want some warmth.
Yeah, and you really it kind of can make a similarity of this Fairfield offense to some pineapple on pizza. You know, when you think about it, it seems like a great concept, and you know it has been a great concept this year. But when you put it up against the greats, like pepperoni on pizza, like this West defense, it is really just doesn't match up the way you think it can, and they really have shown up here tonight against the Fairfield offense.
You know, I'm not going to start any arguments tonight, but I will have to say pineapple is one of the greats on pizza, but let's not get into that. You know, this is some football.
Yeah, you know, I really actually, you know, in you know, all seriousness, I really have liked how Fairfield has played offensively tonight. You know, it's not easy going on the road against a team like West, and they were in this game for a while, and it's just, you know, the way West has responded has been great, but you know, give credit to Fairfield. They're going to be definitely a contender this year in the GMC.
So there you go. I think that was a nice, I'm not quite sure if that was out of bounds. I think it was incomplete, yes. So that'll bring up 4th and 9. Another 3 and out for this defense. I mean, you know, whatever the stats may mean, whatever, you know, maybe Fairfield's offense doesn't pass the eye test to you, but the first ranked defense going against the first-ranked offense. I mean, once again, proving the idea that defense wins championships, and Lakota West seems to have prevailed as just 14 points have been allowed here tonight. And, I mean, they even got some points of their own with that safety. But, I mean, wow, like, defense has prevailed here against offense for sure.
Yeah, and I really think the whole GMC identity is defense, and it's why Princeton and Lakota West, I mean, we're talking about Princeton, they're in a good matchup tonight against East. We'll see how that game ends up going, but, you know, that is going to be another good matchup between two of the top teams in the GMC, so we'll see who wins that game, but if you're a Lakota West fan, you got to be rooting for East because, you know, with that tiebreaker, if East does win that game, Princeton will have the same amount of losses as West, and if West can beat East later on in this year, they all have the tiebreaker, assuming they all go undefeated. So if you're a Firebird fan, definitely be rooting for those Thunderhawks tonight against Princeton.
Yeah, we are thankful of Lakota East Student Broadcasting able to keep us updated from their live stream, and I'm sure they're wondering how this game's going. But, I mean, we're able to keep a live score going thanks to them. I believe it was 14-10 last time we checked in favor of Princeton.
Yeah, and that's a really good game. I mean, really impressive by East. The turnaround they've had coming into this year, you got to give them credit. I mean, last year, finishing 1-9, single win over the bottom feeder, Coleraine. And coming into this year, there was some, you know, quiet optimism in that East, you know, locker room coming into this year. They had a week 1 loss against Centerville, 21-31, but they bounced back great against Mason and then had that overtime win against Hamilton. And then this week against Princeton, they're doing a really good job of staying in that game.
Quick throw there to Tyson Davis. He's had a heck of a game for him. I mean, I think only hasn't had too much of production throughout the season, but tonight he's definitely had a solid impact as a receiver and a runner. And he's been that, you know, dual threat ability here tonight.
And I really think you look across the board for Lakota West, everyone has gotten to eat tonight. It's really just been, you know, one of those games where they're just spreading it across the board, getting everyone involved, and those are the nights where, you know, it's just really one of the best experiences a team can have when everyone on the offense gets to play well.
So we're seeing some Jackson Smith tape here after Sam Wiles decides, I think my time here is over. I've got enough yards and touchdowns, but he's had a solid drive here, had a couple of completions, and, of course, that run. But, I mean, we said it against Hamilton. One of the advantages to being up this many points is being able to let some of your young guys get some get some reps in, whether that's running or throwing, as Norman gets a loss there. And there's Fairfield to read that one like a book.
Yeah, and I feel like, when you look at this game, when you look at how West has played so far this season, you really feel like they kind of maybe didn't play their best on, last week. They probably could have left more out on the field on there. Really felt like that game could have ended in West's favor, but a couple plays didn't bounce their way. Fortunately for West, that's why the playoffs are a thing. They'll have a second chance. I mean, they'll most likely, have another matchup against Princeton this year at some point, maybe in the playoffs. And, in that game, West, they're probably going to bring out their best, and I think they'll have a good chance.
Smith gets a quick play to Barnett. Barnett breaking a tackle, cutting up field, making men miss. And there he is inside that 30-yard line.
Trey Barnett, he is, one of the biggest energizers of this team. And whenever he gets a big play, he'll let you know about it. And that's, one thing this team loves about him. He's just one of those guys that can fight for his team and make sure they don't go down without a fight.
Yeah, you mentioned energy. I mean, he brings the energy physically, with his massive plays to change momentum, especially in that Princeton game last week with his huge play. But also, just mentally, like you said, he's going to fight for the team. He's won with this team, and he's not going to, give up at any point. He's here to stay, and he's had a heck of a game so far tonight.
And that'll bring us to the end of the third quarter tonight as the Firebirds have a 29-point lead over the Indians. But don't tune out just yet, as we have fourth quarter coverage coming from you here on Lakota West Student Broadcasting.
So Lakota West here, deep in Fairfield territory. Jackson Smith looking promising here on this drive, but we'll see what he does here on 2nd and 6. He's got one back to his left, tight formation. Be a quick handoff to Kenyon Norman, and that's a solid gain to bring up 3rd and pretty short.
Number 13, Kenyon Norman.
Yeah, and you see a lot of fans here exiting early because of the blowout of this game, but you see that student section over there supporting their team like some true U.S. patriots. And that is, a good way to say it, because the theme tonight for the student section was USA. So they're putting on for their team and creating a good atmosphere.
So here we go with that run to Norman, cutting up field. And he just pounded and bruised his way to first down. I mean, he's got looking like a firefighter the way he's chugging his legs.
Yeah, and he's fighting the fire of that Fairfield defense, but he's doing a great job of it here tonight.
So we'll see on that after that nice first down. Kenyon Norman getting in those reps. He and Brian Johnson have been incredible tonight. Of course, Brian Johnson with 4 touchdowns, and then Norman also making an impact with a lot of yards on his own. But here we go with Jackson Smith in shotgun formation, 10 seconds on the play clock. Barnett out left. Play action, pressure coming. Tries to get it out. And I think that one will go incomplete. Almost looked like an interception for Fairfield. Nice play from Jackson Smith to get that out. Saw that the play was brewing and just able to get that one out.
Yeah, and obviously Jackson Smith is, a very raw quarterback. He has a lot of talent. But one thing, you'd love to see him improve is his mobility, his ability to escape the pocket, or maybe just run the ball as a quarterback. That's something that Sam Wiles has, been able to implement into his game, which has made him, has excelled him to the next level of quarterback play. But for Jackson Smith, I think that's his next step that he needs to take.
And honestly, to be fair to Jackson Smith, of course, when the whole offense is, meant to be for a rushing quarterback, someone who's less mobile is going to struggle as he gives that one to Norman, cutting up field to get about that 10-yard line to bring up second.
But it kind of goes along with that theme of GMC being really a league where the quarterbacks run the ball a lot. I mean, you saw with, Wiles this year, the way he's running the ball, and then a guy like Talon Fisher for Fairfield last year who had 16 touchdowns with his legs. I mean, literally carried the team. And a lot of guys, in this new style of football that GMC's playing, a lot of quarterbacks are now having to use their legs to really provide offense for their team.
Personal foul on the offense, number 57. 15-yard penalty remaining, second down.
So that one will be here on McKinney. So that's going to make us on a pretty far third and long. But for sure, not just here in the GMC, but really in football as a whole, today it's hard to be a strong and impressive quarterback without that mobility. I mean, there's not a lot of guys who can do it if you don't have the ability to run around and make plays. That's really how the game is like progressing and looking to turn into. But we'll see Jackson Smith in that shotgun formation. Fairfield brings 4. Looking. Clean pocket. Looking for Barnett, and that's just going to be a little overthrown, but there is a flag on the play. And that's going to be pass interference on Fairfield.
And I just think, the throw was a little bit too strong, but you feel like if there wasn't any pass interference, it might have been a touchdown with the way Trey Barnett was running down the field there.
It's got to be frustrating for the defense. Got to be frustrating for the defense as, you had a nice stop. You had him at 3rd and 21, and then Trey Barnett just drawing the penalty, which he's done very nicely here tonight, just to bring up a 3rd and a little more manageable at 8 yards.
We'll see what Jackson Smith can do here. If he can score a touchdown here, that would be, a great confidence booster for him. A guy who, didn't have a lot of confidence after last year, but definitely want to boost his confidence.
So we'll see what he does here on 3rd and 8. Looking, play action, over the middle. Believe that's Jack Barella. And I'm not sure that's close enough for the first down. But it'll bring out 4th down. We'll see if they decide to go for it or bring out the kicking unit on 4th and 3.
And I think they're going to stay on the field here. They want to get Jackson Smith some experience here in these 4th down situations, because next year and the year after that, he's going to be the one taking these important snaps for the Firebirds. Definitely a bright future ahead for him.
Yeah, I mean, for Smith to be able to sit behind a guy like Sam Wiles and learn behind him for 2 years, I mean, that's great for development, especially with he's got the raw measurables. He just doesn't have enough experience as Sam Wiles does. But here we go. The gift to Barnett, and he is into the end zone for another Lakota West touchdown. What a run. That'll make it 49-14. Trey Barnett with his 2nd touchdown of the season.
And just a great play there. I mean, I think everyone on Fairfield was expecting a pass play there with a 4th down from about 5 yards out, but they took the guts and they ran it. And you see Sam Wiles out there congratulating them as he's happy for his guy, Trey Barnett, getting into the end zone. And you got to love that as he does a little celebration at the end there. And a great drive from the Firebirds. They're putting it on Fairfield tonight.
So that drive will be ended with another extra point and another point from our Kofi Dubufor.
And you see Lakota West, the big 5-0. They dropped the 50 burger tonight. A great job for the Firebirds.
So we will take a short step aside as it is 50-14 here at Lakota West Firebird Stadium. See, here we go, 50-14 game. There was a flag on the play, which makes it even easier for Kofi Dufour to put this one in the back of the end zone. I mean, this one might leave the stadium with his range.
Yeah, he's just an incredible kicker. Fell a little bit short today on that 49-yarder, but still a lot of confidence for him. And, it's just going to continue to grow. You got to get those reps in. Obviously he missed that 49-yarder, but he still got pretty close, and still a good chance for him to get opportunities to kick field goals that are that long.
For sure. So we'll see this defense, which has been incredible this season.
Yeah, and it's really been incredible tonight. We haven't talked about it much here in the second half, but the jump it's made has been great, and the ability to just get stops here tonight in the second half. I mean, Fairfield's offense was great in the first and second quarter, but other than that, Lakota West has really dominated.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier how, 14 points in the first half, they're doing better than the average, but still have 14 points halfway through the fourth quarter. So, it looks like West defense is holding, and their defense is just going to improve their stats after this week.
Yeah, and we talked about how Fairfield had come in kind of, not playing the toughest schedule in the world, and it really kind of showed here tonight as they ran into a Firebirds team that had just come off 3 straight very tough games, and come in tonight, and they came in ready to just lay the hammer down on this team, and really this offensive explosion just kind of feels like a glowstone shining bright for the Firebirds, really just shining and showing how their season has improved, in this fourth game of the season.
Riley Edwards is a big tackle for a loss right there. Tackle gain of 1, but still a hard hit right there. Something else I really like about this defense is they play as a team, Dominic looking deep, but just not able to complete that one. But anyways, this team, they're not individuals playing on a defense. They are a team playing on a defense. And, when you have stuff like that, you don't have to waste time at the beginning of the year, using icebreakers to try to get to know each other. There's none of that needed. It's just straight, we're already together. We're glue. We're together. Speaking of which, you don't need glue to stay together because, like this team, like they play as a unit and they don't stop.
And they don't stop, and that is especially true with the seniors on this team: Finn and Reese Mason, Micah Markley, Grant Bierman, Vincent Giordano. This team is just loaded.
Another snap over McGuire's head. Looks like he's going to try to punt this one. He'll get it off, and what a punt.
Wow, that was, you talk about a gutsy play. You got to respect the punter for that one. I was scared for him as he was kicking that one off, but a great job getting that punt away. And I know his coaches are going to give him props for that one.
You saw some hesitation as he saw our big guys running after him, Carson Fan and company. He held it, looked like he might want to throw it, but then he was like, you know what? End of the game, might as well get on the highlight reel as a punter, and he just booted that one. And that was a nice punt all the way down to that 36-yard line.
Yeah, and that's one of those punts that you're going to tell your grandkids about when you get older. That is just like a great play right there. As you're going to remember, you're going to be telling your grandkids, there was a huge guy running at me. I was able to get the punt off and somehow, get my team in a good spot.
And that's what Friday Night Lights are all about.
So those memories that you create on those huge plays.
Jackson Smith will give it again to bring up second and about 7 or 8. There you go, getting more and more reps. He's been able to do that. When you play on a team like the Firebirds, you're going to get a lot of reps even as a backup quarterback because you're just always up a lot of points.
Yeah, and, last week, the young guys didn't really get any reps, but this week they got a lot more reps and a lot more, playing time for these guys that want to still get experience.
So I believe 36-point deficit, that should be enough to get a running clock if I am correct.
Yeah, here in this second half, and, simply speaking, there's just not enough time for Fairfield to make a comeback. But you still like the fight they gave Lakota West at the start of the game, but it really was just talk about defense versus offense. Fairfield's offense just wasn't able to keep up with Lakota West defense, and then you saw Lakota West offense. They exploded, and you expect their offensive ranking to definitely go up a few spots in, the GMC in the next rankings that come out. They were 6th this week. They should be a lot higher next week.
So it is a running clock, and so that means this game is just even closer to being over. But the punting unit will still come out on the field. Joe Marquette, who has been a mainstay for this, special teams, he's been around a while, and he's just always there to make a nice punt downfield and set up the defense for a nice drive.
But, if you're Fairfield, this is a tough loss, but you can't hang your heads too much as the snap goes over his head again. How many times have we seen that tonight?
We'll see what he decides to do here. Looking like he'll return the punt right back, and that one might have a good bounce. Not really nice to West, and that'll put Fairfield into territory. So after the 4th snap over someone's head tonight, we've seen 2 punts, after a bad snap. I mean, what more can you get from a special teams? The almost touchdown from Reese Mason, as well as some big returns from him. You can't get much better on the special teams than this.
Yeah, it's a pretty sloppy football, but it makes for some entertaining moments there. But as I was talking about Fairfield, you don't want to hang your heads too much on this loss because, you're still 2-1 in GMC play, and you still have a chance to make yourself, one of those top teams in the standings at the end of the year,
So here we go, Dominic back in shotgun. He's got one running back. He'll give it to him up the gut.
And really, when you talk about GMC play, it's all about matchups. Last week, Lakota West, simply put, just did not match up well with Princeton's defense. And this week, Fairfield coming in, they just did not match up very well against Lakota West's high-octane defense, coming in and just forcing the pressure on the quarterback and forcing him to make some ill-advised throws that just weren't able to be completed. But a great job tonight for Lakota West, and they'll be 2-1 in GMC play after tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned how there were some questions about the offense just ranking out at 6th in the GMC, just below average. But 50 points in about 3.5 quarters, that is incredible, especially when you factor in, running clock, putting in your backups. Even they were able to get a touchdown. I mean, they've put in the work, and the improvements we've seen from the beginning of the season to now has just been incredible.
Yeah, it really has. This game tonight has what a huge sack right there. What a play.
Elijah Hodge making sure everyone knows I'm here. What a play right there.
And that's how you get yourself, get yourself out there. Let coaches know who you are, as that definitely opens some eyes there. Coming out of nowhere, making that huge sack.
Yeah, coaches, during the summer after the seniors leave, there's some spots might be open there for Elijah Hodge as he makes his impact with a huge sack on Dominic back. So here we go on 4th down. It looks like Fairfield will stay out there on 4th and 8. Just want to get a little more points on the board and make it a little better. Excuse me, they're punting it away. And there's no one back to return, as that one, a perfect punt inside the 5. Nice play there by Aiden McGuire. So just under 2 minutes and about 20 seconds here. We'll take a short step aside as we'll see what Lakota West does here to finish off the game. Just 2 minutes and 20 seconds away from another Lakota West victory here on Lakota West Student Broadcasting. So we'll return here with just 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. West just trying to hold off and end this game here. As another one, I believe that one will also be Kenya Norman.
And you got to respect the student section of Fairfield that's still there chanting defense here on the field. I mean, that is some spirit right there from the students. You got to respect it. I mean, your team's down by like 30, but you're still out there showing love for your team, showing love for your fellow students. But, just continuing to show that support and continuing to fight for your team.
So here we go. 1:50 on the clock. Kenya Norman tonight has been the cookie monster. I mean, he has just racked up those yards.
Yeah, he's just been eating them like cookies. As a huge gain here.
There he goes, LaShawn Williams. What a run for him, bringing his impact into the game.
And a great play there to see. You can see the sidelines amped up after that one. A guy who doesn't get the ball very much, but he's able to make a huge impact right there. And they are ecstatic about that one.
He's third on the depth chart. Maybe we'll get another touchdown here from Lakota West to make this deficit even larger.
And you see Sam Wiles hyping up him up on the sideline. That's great to see from your quarterback. And this team is just so connected here. Even after a tough loss last week, they're still out there supporting their guys and bouncing back. And a huge win tonight. And I mean, this team looks like a team that wants to really get going and get back onto the right foot.
So Fairfield injury will take us to a quick timeout before we come back here on Lakota West Student Broadcasting. Will Lakota West get one more touchdown? Only time will tell. So here we go on 1st and 10 with just 58 seconds to go in this game. Jackson Smith here in shotgun formation. He's just going to give that one to LaShawn Williams for another nice game from him.
And you see LaShawn Williams here on this drive. He's melting the defense like a popsicle melts on a nice hot day in the sun. Just a great job on that drive. And the Firebirds are going to leave here tonight with an emphatic victory.
I like that comparison, but I would have liked it even more if you had, used ice cream, because I definitely think it is superior to popsicles on a hot, sunny day. But that is neither here nor there with just 30 seconds to go in this ball game.
I'd honestly have to agree with you there on that one, but you can't beat a nice ice-cold popsicle on a sunny day.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, if you know the big bag from Kroger you get. And this game will end. After that note, 50 points for Lakota West, holding this first-ranked offense, Fairfield, to only 14 points. Great win for Lakota West here. You got to feel amazing if you are Lakota West, but we will be back next week for Friday, as well as Thursday night's girls soccer game, so make sure you tune into both of those. But we will head to break, and you guys have an incredible night after this incredible game.